In this video, I'm going to be walking you through how to read SAT bars, charts, graphs, all of the data that you need to be able to understand to answer SAT reading and writing inference problems, or PSAT inference problems. I'm going to be going through Bluebook practice tests and teaching you how to read these key pieces of data so that you know how to answer the problems correctly and you're not stumped wondering how to read a chart. So without further delay, let's go ahead and get started.
So here we have one of the SAT inference problems on SAT practice test number 5. We're going to be using SAT practice test number 5 for all these problems. So, spoiler alert. All right. So let's go ahead and look at this graph. We're not going to go through the answers or the answer choices, but we're really just going to figure out what's going on here. If we need to look at the passage down below to understand a little bit more, we can do that, but we're not going to be answering the question. So first thing that you should look at is title. It says total science research submissions by topic 2016 through 2019. So immediately I'm going to be wondering, okay, what topics? I'm going to be expecting to see a key somewhere on this graph that's telling me what those topics are. And in fact, when you go down here, you can see that topic 1, cellular and molecular biology. Topic 2 is physics and space science. Topic 3 is medicine and health. And topic 4 is animal science. So you have total science research submissions by all these topics, 2016 through 2019. And you can see a graph of these research submissions. But how do you understand this graph? Well, you can look down here and you can see dates. So these are the research submissions for each of these years. And so this is the x-axis, and it's probably the next thing that you look at after understanding the title and the key. Understand the x-axis. Then you're going to look over at the y-axis and try to figure out what it's saying. You can see that it's saying that in 2016, the number of submissions would have been 50 for this one, 100 for this one, 200 for this one, and maybe 225 for the highest one. But you can't really understand the whole graph until you look at the y-axis along with the x-axis. Now you need to understand the relationship that they have over time. So you have in 2016, all of the number of submissions where medicine and health is the highest and animal science would be the lowest. Then you can see cellular and molecular biology goes up in 2017, but the others stay relatively flat. That trend kind of continues in 2018, and then it looks like animal science and medicine and health go up, but the others stay relatively flat. So now you understand the topic, the key, the x-axis, the y-axis, and the relationship of all the terms. You understand your graph, and you can solve the problem using your understanding. Let's go ahead and move on to the next problem.
So there actually weren't any more graphs and things in Bluebook practice test number 5, so I went to number 4 for another example, and I think I'm going to have to skip around one more time. But let's go ahead and look at this bar chart. A little bit different than the graph that we saw earlier. Again, let's go ahead and look at the title first. It says the percentage of Ondo State small-scale farmers who are female by main crop grown. So you might be wondering, okay, what's the Ondo State? The passage is going to tell us, but I'm going to be wondering, okay, are the main crops? Because they're just telling us by main crop grown. That's what we're going to expect to find in the key. So down here in the key, it says cereals are this kind of medium gray. Root crops are this light gray, and then non-root vegetables are the black color. So now we understand the key. So again, it says percentage of Ondo State small-scale farmers who are female by all these crops grown. So let's look at the x-axis. It says the North Ondo, so this is by region. North Ondo here, Central Ondo here, and South Ondo here. And then the percentage of farmers as a percentage of total. And when it says that, I think it means total out of like all farmers. The remaining are going to be men. So, for example, you have 30% here, so 70% are going to be men. So you look at the bar chart. If you're going to interpret it, it looks like generally this um, light gray is going to be the lowest, which would mean that female percent farmers as a percentage of all the farmers are the lowest with root crops across all locations. And then again, this medium gray, the cereals is in the middle for all. So it's going to also mean that it's kind of in the middle, just hovering around 30-35% for all farmers for females. And then the black is going to be the highest percentage of people that are female for any of the crops, non-root vegetables, across all the regions. But one thing I do notice is that in both North Ondo and South Ondo, women actually make up a greater percentage of the farmers than men do because you have this 50% mark here. And the women who are growing those non-root vegetables actually go above that mark. So that's just an interesting piece of information. But anyway, yeah, we covered the title, we covered the key, the x-axis, the y-axis, and understanding the relationships of the terms now. So at this point, you'd be ready to solve the problem. Okay, so here we have a chart. So it's a little bit different than the other things we've looked at from practice test 4. This is module 2. It's different because you don't have an x-axis, y-axis, key, any of that type of thing. So let's go ahead and look at the title and try to interpret it. Credited film output of James Young Deere, Dark Cloud, Edwin Carraway, and Lillian St. Cyr. So we see here that there's kind of a heading at the top. You have an individual, and they have the individuals that they've just mentioned up here in the title. They have the years active, so the years they're performing, and the number of films known and commonly credited. So, the films are credited to these particular people. James Young, we can see during these years, was credited as actor in 33 films, 35 he was a director, and 10 was a writer. And it's similar for all of these characters. So the important thing when you're looking at a chart like this is to notice, okay, there's a heading. These things don't mix in with the 4 pieces of 4 lines below. And each of these are done in columns. So this way, and this way. Don't read diagonally or anything like that. You just want to make sure that you associate the information with the correct other things on the graph. When you're going to be solving this problem, you're probably going to be asked to relate information in this direction. Not in this direction. That would be my guess anyway. I haven't looked through the problem recently. But yeah, just make sure that you understand what each of these headings means and how it relates to things below. Honestly, reading charts like this is probably one of the easier things when you're doing a data inference problem in comparison to like if you're reading a bar or a graph or something like that. So those are the 3 problems I'm going to show you guys. I showed you one with a graph, a bar chart, and then now this chart here. So hopefully you've got a good understanding on how to read the data in a data inference problem. I hope you enjoyed that video and that it helps you to be able to get more SAT bar, chart, graph, inference problems right, whether you're taking the SAT in November or later on, or you're taking the PSAT. I hope that helps you to better understand these concepts so that you feel confident and prepared. And if it has helped you, please let me know in the comments below. If you have any other questions about the SAT or anything college apps related, then feel free to put those in the comments below because I will make videos to your request. Anyway, I'd appreciate it if you would subscribe to this channel because this is a part of my college application process too. And you can help me applying to college by showing engagement. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Good luck on your next SAT.